Hi, George here. And here's how to remove the white from this picture and then colorize this image. It's actually pretty easy once you know the steps. Now I'll be including the link for the download for this picture in the description. And when we're finished, I'll be uploading the whole working file up into the photo coach. So if you have the photo coach, you can get that over there, plus a step-by-step instruction for that. Okay, our first step here is just to make a duplicate of this background. Right-click where it says background and duplicate layer. Choose OK. There we go. You can hide that one. That's just a safety. In case you mess things up, we can always go back to that safety. Okay, now we're going to be deleting the white background. We'll do that in a specific way. Start with the magic wand. If you don't have that, that's right down here. So if you're on a different setting up here, then just come down to the options panel, and there it is right there. Set your tolerance pretty low. I have mine set at 7. That should do a good job for that. And the reason why is we want to be grabbing just the blacks and just a little bit of non-black. Now, if I zoom in on this, just zoom in real close, you can see that there are some grays in here along the edge. And by lowering down our tolerance, we'll get rid of most of that. There'll be a little bit of that left. We'll take care of that in a later step. Just do Control-0 to fit screen. There we go. I have anti-aliasing checked and contiguous unchecked. And that should be good. Then click into a nice large black area like that, and it will then select all of the black and none of the white. Now to separate the two out, let's make a layer mask for this. Go up here, click on Layer Mask. There we go, and here's our layer mask, and the white is now gone. Now we still have a little bit of gray in there. Let's go ahead, we'll work on that one. Now for that, I'm going to make a duplicate of this layer. Right-click where it says Background Copy and Duplicate Layer. Choose OK. Again, that's just a protection in case we mess up on this step. We can step back one step right there real easy. Now what we need to do here is right-click where it says Background Copy To. Right-click that and then Simplify Layer. That removes the layer mask and gives you just this as one layer, one image, without any additional masks or anything. And that's why I made that safety back there, because we lost that layer mask. But now that we've done this, we can clean this up. If I make a new layer above our background copy layer, like that, let's fill this with black. Grab the paint bucket and just fill that. And now you can see the little bit of outlining left. That's a little bit of gray that was still around there. We can clean that out very easily. Let's go up here to the new layer here. This is our black image layer. Go up to Enhance, come down to Adjust Lighting and Levels, and then take the black slider and go all the way to the right. That makes everything in the image black. And if I zoom in, you see that all that white is now gone. It's just solid black. Okay, let's just Control-0 to fit on screen. Let's hide that layer. And here's our solid black layer. Now we need to come in here and colorize the stuff inside. And it's real easy. I'm going to zoom in here at the top. And let's just do just the leaves first, leaf area. Make another new layer in here. It's below the background copy to layer. I'm just going to rename this one. Let's name this one Lines. That's where the black is. Come down to our layer 2. Go over to the color picker left-hand side. Let's choose a nice green color in here. It's been kind of like that. That's okay. And then grab the paintbrush and then set this on a hard edge brush. See, there's a hard edge brush. I'll bring the size up a little bit on the brush. Not too much. There's a pretty good size. You can see that. And set the opacity up to 100%. And then we're painting on the layer underneath the line layer. So we're seeing the green through the black, kind of like paint by numbers almost. This actually is the way that they do painting or colorizing in comic strips. In comic books, they do the black lines first and they put the colors underneath the black lines. And then just go through and color this in. Now at this point, you can change colors if you want to. You can go in and do kind of airbrush looks if you want to. I'll show you a little bit of that in just a little bit. Now the easy way to do this is to go around the outside or towards the outside of all your areas like this. Just colorize those first. Get all that worked in here. Around this one over here, and then final one down on this side like that, and then around the bottom area of here is where the leaf is in front of the red strawberry part. And same thing over here. These are the areas that are most difficult to catch with a smaller brush. Once you've done that, bring your brush size up. I'll use the right square bracket key, making a larger brush, And now I can easily come in and just fill in the rest of this very quickly. So use a couple different size brushes just to save yourself a little bit of time, bit of effort in here. If your brush doesn't quite fit, just make your brush a little bit smaller and you can then grab that area. So it's pretty easy, as you can see, to actually come in and put any color that you want in here. Let's go ahead, we'll do the red next as soon as I finish this green area. There we go. If you wanted to have two different shades of green, it's easy to do. Let's go for a darker shade, like that. Bring my brush size down, and I'll just come in here and paint some of these things darker. Now these are solid colors. I'm using this solid color in here and give it some kind of basic shading look or a shadowed look. Choose where you want your light to come from and then color half of the leaves with your darker color and leave the other half lighter. That gives you kind of a nice shadowed effect in there. Pretty easy to do. Okay, let's come down to the strawberry underneath here. This will be red, of course. So let's make a new layer for this. New layer. Change our color over here to a red. It's at the very top, like that. And right there, bright red, bring it down a little bit. A rich, dark red. And again, I'll have my brush size just a little bit larger here. And I'll come in and I'll paint right along the edges, just like I did with the green. So I get into these little tight areas like that. We'll then come back with a larger brush and get the middle section. Now the trick here is just to take your time. Whenever you're doing painting, don't be too rushed on this. Just enjoy the process and work around the edges. If you happen to go off, it's okay. If you do that by accident, that's easy to fix. I'll show you how to do that as soon as we get this thing colorized. I'll come back to that. So that's not a problem. Don't worry about that. Okay, let's go up this side over here. And the other way to do this would be to come in and make a selection around this area, then just fill that selection. But I find you put as much time into it that way as you do it this way, and sometimes selections seem to be more difficult to do. Okay, let's make our brush size larger. That's the right square bracket key. Bigger brush, and I can now fill this in very quickly once I'm away from that edge, and I'm not worrying about messing up. Okay, I'll just fill this up to here, like that. Come in here. This actually really is the same technique I use when I'm colorizing a straight black and white as well. Same idea. Okay, now with this over here, all you have to do is grab the eraser tool, have a hard edge, and then just erase that back out right back to that black line. There you go. Nice and clean, easy to do. Now I have these seeds in here. You can colorize those seeds. I do the exact same thing. I'd make another layer, so a new layer for each color. I probably could have separated out the green colors onto two layers as well if I wanted to. Let's go over here. Let's make a darker color for the seeds, like that. Choose your paintbrush, bring the brush size down, and then just paint right in there. Again, bring your brush size down enough so that you're not going over those black edges. And then just go around and fill in where all of those seeds would be. So very easy to do, as you can see. I'll show you an airbrush technique here in just a minute. Let's go ahead and we'll finish all the seeds. There aren't that many of these, luckily. But we'll get them all taken care of, just so it's a complete picture when we're finished here. I'm even doing some of the ones that are open. They're not totally enclosed. I'll do those anyway. Looks like they should be seeds. Like that one right there. And a few over on this side, and then we should be okay. Let's do that one. Not being real super careful about this. I don't think it really needs that. Okay, spacebar, you can move your image around. Let's grab that one and that there. Okay, there's that. Let's now do some shadowing on this. There is some shadowing already, as you can see. We can do more. I put a new layer in here. I use the same darker red. Go for a much larger brush size. Just using the right square bracket key like that. Let's make this a soft edge brush, actually. And check our size here, maybe a 300 soft edge. That's pretty good. Bring the opacity way down to 15%. And now I can come in and just brush in some of that darker color, just like using an airbrush. Now I'm going over the edges. You can see that. I'm not really watching those sides very carefully. And that's because I can go back in with the eraser tool. Here we go. Let's bring the eraser tool brush size up. And then just clean out anything on those edges. It's kind of a two-step process. Put your colors in and then clean up as your second step. So very easy to do this. Now, one of the benefits of having everything on separate layers is that you can come back and change your colors very, very easily. Let me just show you that. Just get this off of here. There we go. Let's say I wasn't happy with that red. I can go up here to Layer, make a new adjustment layer. Let's do Hue Saturation and use Previous Layer. Choose OK. That locks the adjustment onto that one layer. I now can change my saturation level in here if I wanted to. That's how it's only affecting the reds. I can change the color by changing the hue. You can also change the lightness if you want. So you have a lot of control in here because you have things separated out onto different layers. Now, if you want this whole project file over here, I'm putting this up into the Photo Coach, along with the step-by-step on what I just did in here, so you can get that. If you don't have the Photo Coach, I'll put a link for that at the top of the description. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell icon for notifications of my new videos. I'm doing new videos every single week, and I'll see you next time.